Alright. Alright. Sound check. Check, check. Sound check. Alright, that's working. Let me just take care of one more thing. And we'll be ready to go, waiting for people to get in before we start this press conference, post-show, coach show, whatever people want to call it. Apologies that it started late. Right when we're ready to start, it made me do an update. Just gotta give me 1 second. Alright, so yeah. Let's get this started. Yeah, like I was saying, we were about to start and then we need to do a system update. That's why everything got delayed about 15 minutes. Seems to be like an RFL podcast kind of thing. Delays. Or early. One team seems to do their podcast a little earlier than planned. But yeah, as you see, we were able to pull out that victory today. Not the favorites. I don't even know. I didn't even get a chance to see what the spread was on this game. I'll check that out now. But I know we weren't favored to go in. I know the podcast unanimously had us losing. They did throw out a bunch of ideas on how to win that game. I did take them into consideration. I don't know whether or not I would have done something different if I didn't hear what they said. Yeah, it was a 7.5 point underdog in that game. But that excuse me. That win puts us in great position to make the playoffs now. We still need the Elks to lose at least one for me to feel really comfortable. We have 3 of the bye wins coming up. We have the Tigers, who we should win, but I'm not going to just treat it as like an automatic win. And then we have the Explorers, who I'm sure will be the underdog in that game too. But we could pull that one out. And if we want to get to the Reload Bowl, we're going to have to beat a team like the Explorers. We should have Bentley back by then. We're going to make some decisions once Bentley does come back. Because obviously someone's going to have to go down to the practice squad or get released. Someone's going to have to get released because we don't have any more space on the practice squad. So that's going to be sad. That guy will get if we win the division, he'll at least get something for that. And hopefully if we make the championship and win that guy will get some credit too. But yeah, let me see the questions we have already loaded up for this show. Crew questions. Pull that up. How do you feel about Lindsey Hardison's last game, or this game? Hardison, I believe he had a touchdown. Let's check him out. Let's check out how everybody did, really. Both sides of the ball. Wakefield played amazing. He's been up and down, but he got the job done today. I don't know if it's good enough for Offensive Player of the Week. So, I mean, obviously, it's the second game of the week. So it's way too early to tell. That's I don't know, the way the RFL is. You probably got to get closer to 350 to be Offensive Player of the Week. But that passer rating is awesome. 3 TDs, great. Let's check out the rushing. Bryson. Now it's funny. I was talking with Rob, who does the commentating on Twitch, and I told him like we probably don't need a 100-yard game, and like in total from everybody. We just need to make the ground game effective enough that they got to respect it. And boy, did Bryson go off. He might get, he probably needed touchdowns to get Offensive Player of the Week. Nice seeing Dorsett get some carries. Though he's only had a few carries before this game, that's below his average. But he was like averaging 1 carry a game for like 5 yards a carry. So I didn't expect him to keep that up. 3.6 isn't bad. Like I tell people all the time, 3.4 and up is good. If you run the ball 3.4 yards a carry, you're going to get a first down before you get a fourth down every time. Could have swore Lawrence had some carries. Maybe not. I could have swore. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, Lawrence had 1 carry, negative 3 yards. He had some drops too. That's why I kind of prefer. What I wish is that I could put Bryson on first down, Lawrence on second down, and that way I'll have Bryson for third down, because he's a very good receiving back, and I believe twice on third down Lawrence dropped third down balls. Not that they were easy catches. I can't remember. I'm pretty sure it was a defender on them, but Bryson usually does a little better job dealing with that. Looking at receptions here. Colt had an amazing game. 6 catches, 141 yards, including that huge 92-yard touchdown. That was, oh my gosh, the elation. 2 TDs, yeah. And they had Curry did a good job today for them. Linton had a good game for them. And then we look at back to our guys. 3 catches for Beal for 66 yards. That's a good game and a touchdown. Lindsey Hardison, 3 catches for 54 yards. That's a good game. Like I was telling, another thing I was telling her, we have other weapons other than Bentley. Well, shoot. Beal, you don't get to see Beal because Colt, Hardison, and Bentley are the top 3 receivers. Beal is a good receiver who just doesn't get much time usually because there's 3 really good receivers in front of him. And even when he's on the field, he's, you got Lalai on there getting catches. And sometimes Woodfin and Harriet from the tight end to fullback position are getting catches, and the running back. So it's hard for Beal. It was hard for Beal, sorry, to get much play. But I mean, you see when he does stuff. And there's proven my point earlier. Wasn't a great day throwing to the running backs. We usually have a little bit better day throwing to the backs. But I mean, can't complain how the game plan went. Oh, those guys didn't do anything. Receiving wise, the blockers. Let's go to my team. We gave up 2 sacks. Cannell got blamed for 1. As some of you know, Cannell replaced Bryce Anderson, who is really, hate to say it, heads and shoulders above everyone and giving up tackles. He's a big, strong guy, but his blocking ability isn't the best. If we can combine these 2, that would be great. But right now, Cannell's our starter. He gave up 1 sack. Not the worst thing in the world. And the other sack was probably, I think it was some guy who just ran free off a blitz, if I'm not mistaken. But let's look at both teams. Harden for them, or the what was the other sack giver upper, and Cameron Smithson was the other one. All right, let's look at defense now. And let me tell you, okay, so I was thinking maybe Forbes might get off defensive player of the week with the 2 interceptions. I don't know if the 10 tackles is going to be enough, especially because there's not solo, just 3 single solo tackles. 3 tackles for losses. Those interceptions were so big. We've been missing interceptions. I mean, he doubled up our team, our number of interceptions our team has, and we had 2 interceptions going into this. Really, we only had 1 meaningful one, because the other one was last week, and that was on a Hail Mary at the end of the half. Batting the ball away would have been just as good on that. Especially since like the Hail Mary, I don't even think was close to the end zone. So yeah, he has 2 meaningful interceptions versus the rest of the team has 1. Would have liked to seen that from the corners. We're working on that, but I mean, you got to kind of look at the corners as like, if they attack the linebackers, it's probably because the corners were doing their job for the most part. I mean, we saw what Curry and Linton did. Both had really good games. Sorry, I just wanted to look at that. As you see, no one else got interceptions on the other team because Wakefield didn't throw any picks. Hoping he keeps that up for the rest of the season, because he's 3 and 4, 2, 3, 4 interceptions in a game. That has got to go. And I was telling my my defensive assistant coach. Let me pull up what he said. His comment on the game. Waiting for it to pull up. Still waiting for it to pull up. Phone's acting weird. While I'm doing that, let me plug the thing I'm supposed to plug. freeforallradio.com, or f4aradio.com, not free for all. Sorry. And the other one is WGL Wrestling Gens League, which can be seen on this channel at other times. Like and subscribe and turn on notifications so you can know when it's on. Alright, so Coach Hargett had to say, I'm on the wrong one. Finally hands from the defense, but no points off of it. Defense stepped up for us. Our defense stepped up for Beast Bentley. Yeah, everyone stepped up. You gotta be happy with everyone's performance off of, despite losing Bentley. Everyone covered for him. Everyone played well. Everyone did their job, I feel. Yeah, let's look at deflections. So Forbes had 2 picks, led the game, was the only one with picks, and on top of that, he had twice as many deflections as anyone else in the game. Props to Ashmore and Beck for getting some deflections. And I know I've done this before. Man, I don't care what the situation is, you gotta always have the catches allowed being kept track of. I don't care if it's sim game or played game or whatever. That's ridiculous. If you have it, it's gotta work all the time. Alright, now that I'm done bashing Madden, Oh, who forced the fumble? Someone strong. Oh yeah, Dalvin Lloyd. If that might have been the nail in the coffin, getting that fumble. I think we got a field goal off of that, maybe. Either way, you get them to turn the ball over. That's huge. Oof. Oh, Nicholas Jenkins had one too. That oh yeah, the dead man fumble. Um, I forget which one had the strong arm strip and which one had the QB fumble. And then Mulback had the fumble recovery, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. And then we had a field goal block. That was from Branton Cumberland. Overachiever right there. No safeties, no TDs. Alright, let's look at sacks for this game. Who had them? Nicholas Jenkins had another big. He was probably the one who got the dead man's fumble. Victor Stills. Did we fumble the ball? Oh, a sack. Sorry, I forgot what I was looking at. Victor Stills. Yeah, I remember that. That's probably the sack that wasn't put on anybody. Um, oh, we have a question. What do you think contributed the most to your win tonight? The defense. We let if we let that team get going on offense, you're in trouble. Um, the defense played great against run, which has probably been one of our weaknesses lately, or this season. Really, I mean, Scott didn't even really get going till the second half, and by then they were mostly in throw the ball mode, which might be why Scott got going, because we were in defend the pass mode. Just the defense stepping up, being able to get actual interceptions and not dropping interceptions. That's huge because we've been dropping them all season. We came to this game with 2 interceptions all season, last in the league. I mean, I don't know how many. Who's the worst in the AFC? But I bet they're better. They're better than us going into that game. Like I was saying earlier, Forbes with 2 interceptions, doubling up the team's interception number, and like that was big. But also, I mean, you asked for most, so I'll say defense. But like I was telling Rob, we have other offensive weapons receiver-wise. They may not be as dependable as Bentley, but they're dangerous. And the Snowhawks found that out, especially after that 92-yard touchdown pass to Colt, who just blew by the defense. He's such a big dude. If I can get him to start mossing people on the regular, we'd have 2 monsters at receiver. No, Floyd was the other guy who got a sack. But yeah, gotta give it to them. Big difference in Wakefield this week from last week. What do you think contributed to that? I mean, I have a theory, but I think, well, for starters, Wakefield's kind of up and down as it is. Like, he'll have an offensive player of the week performance one week, and then the next week he'll throw 3 picks. I'm hoping with the change that was made before this week's games, that might have been what contributed to him playing so well. If it is, I hope that keeps up. And also, we still got to keep getting him better. He's definitely one of the 3 guys we focus on in training to improve quicker, and he's a quick improver anyway. So we're hoping that's his name. What took Colt so long to get steady playing time, being one of your best or better receivers? He's actually worked his way up. He had an awful preseason. All the receivers had just about as many downs. They all got to play with Wakefield. Actually, all our quarterbacks, other than the guy who played the very first quarter of the very first game, are good quarterbacks. No one really got to see Goodwell and Wakefield in the preseason. They just saw Sears for 3 quarters and the 56 overall. Anyway, after the preseason, I don't think Colt or Beal had a single catch. So, I mean, seeing how they're playing against um, backups, some of those situations, they really didn't earn their spot. But Colt and Beal both took advantage of opportunity, got some catches, got to show what they can do in the regular season, jumped over some receivers, um, and with Bentley out, it makes Colt had to be a feature receiver. Put him in the top 2. I know some people are scratch their head about Lindsey Hardison, but the guy was amazing in the preseason. He's been very good in the regular season. He's gone in and out of the top 10 receivers in the NFC list. But yeah, he's getting opportunities to take advantage of, and when Bentley comes back, we're gonna have some decisions to make of who gets slid into that 3rd spot, and the 4th spot. We'll see what happens over the next few games until Bentley gets back, and these guys are all. It's like almost a fresh new battle for receiver spots. Because, like we said, we're going to have to make some decisions once Bentley comes back. So, one of these receivers is probably either getting cut or moving down to the practice squad. I'm not talking. And so, it's probably not going to be Beal, Colt, or Hardison. Most likely, it's either going to be Diamond, Potter, or Smith. And then, there's 6 receiver spots. But, I mean, the top 3 get the most looks, 4 get some, and then you're looking at your 5th and 6th. You're probably not barely getting any playing time. Let me look at receiving. Did the show downs played? Oh, it doesn't show downs played. Oh well. Oh, look at that. Yeah, it's a shame it doesn't show downs played. Because I was curious how much Diamond and Smith got into the game. I had Smith in as the backup slot and the number 4 receiver. Potter and Smith were the 5 and 6. I guess Diamond got on the field, but didn't get any looks. Somebody was really happy to see me sign Diamond too, and it wasn't. And Diamond's not a sim player; he's a generated one. So, let's go to look under. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Thank you. I'm sure they'll be on the bottom here. Just scroll till we get there. Oh, that would make it quicker too. Obviously. Alright. Nice to see Tarpley. Tarpley used to be the starting defensive tackle till we made some defensive line shifts. We have a bunch of good young defensive tackles that just need to grow into the position a little better. I didn't know Clem Austin got on the field. Didn't know he got on the field. Okay, so Diamond got on the field 3 times. What's up, Mitchie? Just talking about this game we had today. Smith got on the field 8 times. Wow. And where's Potter? I must have missed Potter. Potter probably didn't have any. Okay, I'm not seeing Potter at all for some reason. pretty sure I signed him from the practice squad. Not sure what happened to Potter. But yeah, so um, Smith and Diamond both got some time on the field. Didn't get any catches. That's not great for them, but I mean, it's not that many chances to get a catch, especially when you're on the field with the other guys who were just making great plays. Let's go for another 5 minutes. Any stats you guys want to see? Thanks, Mitch. Dude, I was coming in this game sweating bullets. Like, I if I didn't listen to, I mean, I definitely never thought it was like when I predicted. I was talking to Rob about, and I predicted that I could probably, not to him, but beginning of the season, I predicted I could probably go 5-1 through this division, and with that L being the game we just had, so I didn't. My confidence for this game was never high, but I knew we could do something. And then when Bentley went out, oh my gosh, that was crushing. But like I've said a few times, like I know we have other weapons other than Bentley, but I mean, you saw there were times on the game where Wakefield just stood back there forever and ended up taking a sack or something because no one was getting open. You're in the 4th spot for the playoffs right now. Who do you expect to meet in the first round of the playoffs if you win the division? Explorers, I've been expecting them for weeks now. I thought maybe they could somehow pass the Thunderbirds, but after today, their loss against the Thunderbirds, I'm pretty sure that's not going to happen. So yeah, if I'm able to maintain the division, what I've been expecting most of the year is to meet the Explorers. But I mean, you never know; they could have another fall off. I'll be playing the top wild card team, which I think they drop. Do they drop down? Let me pull it. Let me. We didn't get pressure and didn't take shots down the field. Yeah, I'm surprised. I'm actually kind of surprised there weren't more shots taken down the field. Not getting pressure, I kind of take pride in making sure I have a good O line. Cannell's the worst rated O lineman at 74, but his ability, his blocking ability, is really good. I think it was you, Mitch, who was showing. I forget what you were calling it, but it was a rating based off of just certain attributes on the list of attributes. I think Cannell would probably be higher than what he's rated. And then I have, I think, 190 offensive linemen, 280s, and a high 70 something. So, like, I'm not too surprised. Not too many teams have really gotten a lot of pressure, and when I've taken out Bryce Anderson, the pressure's gotten even less. I am pissed off at for a guy with an Italian last name, I am mad at myself I can't pronounce his very well. Yeah, your grading system. Like, I'm kind of curious what the grading system on Bryce Anderson and, I can't remember his first name. Malcolm Cannell. What Malcolm Cannell, what your grading system would have them graded. But I'm sure it's better than what Madden has them graded. Or at least Cannell. Anderson probably might be worse. Oh, thank you. Alright. But yeah, he's looking that up. Roland's just laughing and making faces at us. We'll probably go a little more than 30 minutes. There's some action on Discord. Oh, that's something else. We got a mention on Instagram. Let's check that out while Mitch looks that up for me. No, he just said let's go. I didn't know Small Redhead was a fan. But yeah, that was the RFL headline says Crusaders pull off a convincing upset over the Snowhawks 30-16 without Elijah Bentley to remain NFC West leaders, and then a bunch of hashtags. And Small Redhead said San Diego Crusaders, let's go. But yeah, what else did I want to look at? Let's look at box score. They had more yards gained, but sometimes that doesn't matter when you win that attribute, which is one thing. That's one stat we've been losing most weeks because we just don't get turnovers. We don't cause fumbles, and when we do, we don't recover fumbles, and we don't get interceptions. We've had tons of balls hit receiver square or cornerback square in the hand, and they just drop the ball. They make great plays, and then it's just a drop, and I mean, that happens to everyone, don't get me wrong. But them actually catching the ball doesn't happen much for us. So, when the first pick happened, I made a noise of shock. Someone looked at me and was like, what the heck? And then when the second one happened, it was crazy. I couldn't believe it. Both teams 100% in the red zone. Cannell got a grade of 80. See? And Bryce Anderson, he was starter for most season up until 2 or 3 weeks ago. Until I looked at the stats and was like, alright. Everyone else is like 3 at most, and Anderson had given up like 6 to 9 or something like that. So I had to look at Cannell and my other, and I just noticed Cannell was only a few points behind. Little upgrading, he'd get even closer, and he has good blocking stats or abilities, not attributes, because abilities is something else in Madden 20. The late hit, that was. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that in NFL sometimes. Like, I think they need a buffer line in the NFL, where if it's a late hit but it's in that buffer line, it's not so bad. You either only give them 5 yards or don't call it, because this making like defenders stop on a dime, like I'm gonna blow this guy up. Oh, he stepped out of bounds. I gotta hit the brakes. And then on occasion you see a defender hit the brakes, and the receiver or the ball carrier will keep going. And it's like, well, of course he stopped. He don't want to get called for unsportsmanlike for a late hit because he thought the guy was going out of bounds. And I realize they do all that for safety reasons. But what did Anderson get, by the way? If you're looking at that, there it is. Yeah, 77.4, which is about what he is anyway. Coach B, you might know a little something, just a little. Yeah, a little bit. Oh shoot, I didn't catch what was asked. Oh, I'll pull it up on the phone. Give me a second. Pull up the chat. This phone is terrible. There it is. With your giving up the most total yards in the NFC, how did they manage to keep 2 very good offenses in check the last 2 weeks? My team's pretty good at. The Crusaders are pretty good at bending but don't break. So like, they'll give up yards, but then you end up walking away with a field goal. Um, this week though, um, I'm trying to think of the defensive adjustments I made for the Thunderbird game. I don't think I made much, but after the Thunderbird game, it was clear I had to make a few changes. Um, Barnett, who I traded from the Thunderbirds I traded him from to become the free safety. But when it was time to make final depth chart decisions, I thought Northrup, who's a corner, was a better situation at free safety. And I think free safety is one of the better, what was I saying? I think Northrup is a better free safety than Barnett, and I think free safety is one of the most important positions on the field. When Northrup's in free safety, you don't see so many successful long throws against us. But yeah, if Barnett's gonna be I finally realized that I don't know realized I decided that Barnett, like, I have a little grading system of my own for free safety, and it's really not that many stats. It's like two or three. Um, and though Northrup is better, Barnett was pretty close. So it's finally just put Barnett at free safety. I feel like those deep passes looked a little different than they do against Barnett than they do against Northrup. But Barnett did a good job most of the time. Um, and Northrup at corner did decent. Seemed to do a decent job. He's an 80 overall. I had him, I think, manning up Curry. I'm not 100% sure about that. But, dude, when I took over this team, I know you guys joke about CBs at CB, but when I got this team, I had a rackload of free safeties and corners, and most of the corners are like in the 60s. But I had all these free safeties that are 70s, but they're 70s at corner too. Um, that's why I have so many free safeties in the cornerback depth chart. Um, but yeah, that's why I had three. Now it's down to two free safeties in the cornerbacks. Clay, you know what the thing about Clay is? He does a good. He's a good corner, but he is. We had 2 or 3 game streak where he was in the highlights for the other team, and it was him missing tackles terribly. So yeah, he's a good corner, but if someone gets a catch on him, he is missing the guy by like 5 yards, and it was getting embarrassing, and he was just getting lit up. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm sure he will eventually be back in the top 2 corners for this team. I'm hoping. We still got to figure out the glitch with the. I still got to get Smitty to help me out with my guys who glitch won't sign, which is Northrup's one of them. If I can get Northrup to re-sign, or even give me a chance to try to sign him, and I sign him, I think Northrup, Ashmore, and Clay are my top 3 receivers for the foreseeable future. But there is a draft coming up, and corner, this is secondary, needs improvements there too. So we'll see. We'll see what the draft gives us, and you know, yeah. Any other questions, comments, whatnot? Did I miss anything? But yeah, part of the reason we give up so much is we give up a lot. We were giving up a lot on the run. Moving Wilcox to defensive tackle helped a lot. I think you take a defensive maybe. It's crazy. We have like four defensive tackles who are extremely young and could eventually be really good. So I'm iffy on drafting a defensive tackle. I mean, we still got a few weeks of re-signing people. Got to see what's available. Like if there's not a good defensive tackle in the first round, I'm not going to draft a third round defensive tackle because I need one, and then I got to wait the whole second round without a pick. I love Leli from preseason. He didn't have he had a good game, but he didn't have his usual game. So props to, 2 catches for 34 yards. That's not his usual numbers. That's one of his worst games. Still did a good job. Like that first catch set the tone. 34 yards. Yeah. The 28-yarder was the first play of the game for us to Leli. I thought that was a receiver who caught the ball. Like, he caught that way downfield. But I'm always happy with him. He just didn't have his best game, but even his non-best game is decent. Why do you like the 3-4 defense? Probably a mix of being a Ravens fan and growing up, they're 3-4. They ran the 3-4 like they had a patent on it. But I like it because when it's run right, sometimes when I see them running the 3-4 here, it pisses me off when they bring the linebacker up to the O-line. But I like the 4 linebackers just sitting back, and one of them's going to blitz, but you don't know which one. So it should mess with the O-line, trying to figure out who's got the linemen, because one of those other guys, if not 2 of those guys, are going to be coming at the quarterback too. But depending on the playbook and the scheme, sometimes I might as well just run a 4-3 because they'll just bring the linebacker up to the O-line and he lines up like it's a 4-3 anyway. I'll be honest, I was expecting Leli to destroy me. I expected him to have more catches. Just freaking Colt. Like, I thought he could have a good game, but I was not expecting that. I kind of expected that more from Hardison. But Colt, he's tearing up. What do you see in the Skins playbook that you like? I tested a lot of the basic 3-4 defenses. At the end of the preseason, I like the Houston and the Washington ones best. And as some of you may know, I chose Houston. Was it Houston? Pretty sure it was Houston. It was one of the basic 3-4s and Washington's 3-4. And going through the season, the other 3-4 just wasn't working as well. So that's why I was looking for a good 3-4 defenses, and that's why I ended up with 2. And then I kind of realized during the regular season that I'm not gonna say the same, but I had to get rid of one of them so I could have more diversity and bring in the Baltimore defense, just to see what that is, and we'll see if I even ever use the Baltimore defense. I still have worries on that defense after testing it in that game in the Shadow Realm, as some people call it. Shoot, if you're in Maryland, we gotta have a drink. Yeah, I am I'm in Pennsylvania, but I'm right on the border, and I'm in Pennsylvania. I'm in Maryland all the time. What part of Frederick's like my Maryland home base when I'm in Maryland, which is a lot when there's not a pandemic going on. Yeah, Skin's got a good book. I like their They just need a coach not named Gruden running it. Have you thought about multiple books? Are you talking about playbooks? Yeah, I'm done with the Houston playbook. Um, Mostly, especially now, it's either Jets defense playbook or the Washington playbook. Um, like I've been saying, and it was mentioned in the game, I have 3 more NFL games, and I can test that the Ravens playbook some more and see if I like it or not. If I do, we might see it against the Tigers or the Explorers. If I don't, then I'm probably either going with um, Jets and Washington. Where am I on this? Have you thought of multiple books? And he follows up. Yeah, like Panthers, Pats, Lions, etc. I'm a little confused. But yeah, basically, I mean, I'm not revealing any secrets to any of the coaches who can just go and look. I've been mostly running the Patriots offense with Carolina here and there, but I got Tampa's offensive playbook, which also I still want to test some more. But I like it. I like that one about as much as I like Carolina, but I still need to look at it some more because I like the Oakland one until for some reason I started seeing these plays where receivers were running right next to each other. Um, and then defense, it's depending on the team, it's gonna be or it's been Washington or the Jets. I don't know if that answered your question. Yes, no. He's asking, would you run multiple defense? Is it? Oh, have you thought about multiple? I gotcha. I gotcha. I gotcha. Um, the Jets and the Baltimore playbook have the 4-4, which I like. I just really don't like the 4-3 because I feel like if a runner can get through the O line and pick the right hole, he's going to be running for days. I think the 3-4 kind of prevents that a little better, though it might give up the short 2-3 yard runs a little more. Um, but also, like I think Mitchie was saying, he thinks I need to draft a defensive tackle, which I probably do. And so the least amount of defensive tackles on the field, the better, because that's probably my worst position on the team. Which is another reason we were rocking the 3-4 so much, and you know, I want to run the Washington playbook against certain kinds of teams. Took me a second to recognize the what the blue emoji was. I because the 4-3 is trash. Yeah, I don't like the 4-3. I mean, if I had the only way I would run the 4-3 is if somehow I ended up with 2 really good defensive tackles. And even still, I'd probably just religiously run the Jets and Ravens because they have the 4-4. Um, and then maybe put a defensive tackle like at end or something. I don't know. But yeah, it's very doubtful that you'll ever see me run the 4-3 scheme or a playbook that has a lot of 4-3 in it. Um, yeah. You got any more comments or questions? Can we make it to a full hour? Or we can just talk about whatever if you want. Yeah, it's terrible. Yeah, I've never liked it. Like I give people looks when they run the 4-3. I'm like, okay, if that's what you want to do. Um, but yeah, it's have the two NFL teams around here run the 3-4. I didn't expect to leave this chat a fan. Alright, well, don't leave yet, because I want to clarify something. And I said I was gonna do this if you were in there. When I say that game against you was a fluke, it's not because of your team. It's the situation we were in before the fumbles. We were up 17-3, about looking to score again, and instead of scoring again, fumble picked up by a D lineman, I think, and ran back for a touchdown. That just seems so fluky. Like, and then the other fumble was at our own 7. Fumbles pretty much gave you 2 touchdowns. Like, if they would have happened like in the middle of the field, I'd probably be less upset with those fumbles. But yeah, that's why I say fluky, because I think the Barons are one of the top teams in the league, and I'd be surprised if you don't make the playoffs as the other wild card. Though I'm a little surprised about how good some of the other teams in the RFL NFC are. That Explorers, did the Explorers drop down after their loss today? Because they were the first wild card, right? And this loss knocked them down to 2. Predictions: NFC playoff teams and rankings. Well, Thunderbirds, I think, are going to end up first, because I think the Lancers are going to slip up. Unless I lose to the Tigers or the Elks go undefeated, I don't think I'm going to miss the playoffs. Shoot. I gotta pull up the playoff picture from... Because really, it's bad to admit this, but the teams I follow most are the teams I play and the Red Dragons, because they're the other San Diego team. So, like, I follow the NFC North a lot, because I'm playing the whole NFC North. Yeah. I shouldn't lose to the Tigers, but after losing to the Condors, and so badly, they still worry me a good bit. I'm definitely not gonna half-ass planning for them, because I spent a good bit of time on Madden on Wednesday planning today's game. But yeah, let me pull up the playoff picture so I can get kind of a clear vision in my mind of what it looks like right now. Yeah, I think the Thunderbirds will be first. I think the Steamers are going to sneak up to number 2. Lancers will probably be number 3. And honestly, I still think Explorers and Barons are your 2 wild cards. Because I think the NFC North is the division of the conference. What I might do, I've been meaning to do this for like the last few weeks. Look at every conference's record or every division's conference out of division games. Of course, not counting the NFL games. Even though the NFC had to, their first NFL game counted. Oh, the West. I can kind of look at the West and, like, I follow the AFC a little bit. That the Celtics Tiger Dreadnoughts game is going to decide who the 1 and 2 are. The Bulls might sneak past, whatever. The Bulls and Dragons. So, like, whoever wins the Celtic Tiger Dreadnoughts game will be the number 1. And then the next 3 will probably still be Dreadnoughts, Bulls, and Dragons, but it could be any order. I think the Huskies make it, and hmm, dude, not the Conquistadors. Black Knights have a chance. Riverhogs have a chance. I'm not digging the Voyagers. Cougars have a chance, and Sentinels have a good chance. But if I had to put money on one, I think the Huskies will be the number 5 wild card in the AFC, and your 6 will be the man. Do the Riverhogs play the Red Dragons again? Because if they do, I don't think Riverhogs get in. And if the Sentinels have to play the Black Knights again, I'd put my money on the Cougars. Yeah, none of us. It's like, and it's really like the NL AL back before interleague play. Like, yeah, they're over there. I'll watch the highlights, but I don't really care about the National League. I just care about my O's until they started interleague play and Washington got a baseball team. And despite living in Maryland, I'm probably more of a or growing up in Maryland, I'm more of a Washington guy than a Baltimore guy, but I love Baltimore teams anyway. The NFC prediction was Thunderbirds, Steamers, Lancers, Crusaders, Explorers, Barons. Oh yeah, that whole Matt Jones. I can't wait to see those games. Actually, I might watch those games, because that whole mess with signing a guy after 4 good games against mediocre, poor teams. See, this is what's good about the RFL podcast. Like, I didn't even know about that storyline, but now it's more interesting. Now I'm more interested in that team just to see how this guy does against good teams. Yeah, it's you get. There's some weeks where there's like one week I was able to catch every game, and that was one of those weeks where there's hardly any games that week, or not hardly, but like there was 3 premier games, and I didn't have anything to do. But then there's other weeks where it's like I'll catch my game, and I'll be lucky to catch anything else. So like if I have my choice, I'm gonna make time to watch teams I'm gonna play, so I know what to do against them, not the Aviators. So definitely my AFC predictions is probably a lot worse than my NFC predictions. Um, what I'm curious about though? Who do the Elks have left? Because as much as I think I have a shot against the Explorers, I'm not going to put money on that one. And I just want to see the Elks lose one more before. Because if I could go into Explorer games being able to rest people, that would be cool. Of course, nothing. Condors, Barons, Explorers, Condors. Barons should be able to beat the Elks. Explorers should be able to beat the Elks. So that makes me feel good. Yeah, shoot. Mitchie, you need the Elks to lose too. I think they're going to lose against the Barons and the Explorers. Um, thanks, Roland. Um, when do you two play? When do Snowhawks play Barons? Oh yeah. I would expect you to battle. You're only a game out. Well, you're kind of 2 games out because you have to have a better record than me now. But still, it's how many weeks left? 6, 5. Okay, dude, That's definitely gonna be my game of the week. Is Barons Snowhawks. Is that in Brooklyn or is that in Portland? Though I think my team plays better on the road. I don't know if that's because oh, I get so paranoid that whoever is commentating my game and takes over my team messes something up in the scheme or the playbook. They probably don't. They probably never have, but um, I'm just paranoid about that stuff. Sorry about Balin. Yeah. Um. Uh, Play Snowhawks desperate to win. Yeah, you definitely need these wins. Your guys better come out looking like freaking monsters rolling. Like if they come out looking half-assed, and there's something wrong with Madden. Oh, okay. Are you sure? Because it seems like the last time I took my team back, like something was different. Maybe I'm thinking of something else. I don't know. I hope not. All the freaking lengths I go to not to catch that stuff when I go to the store. Freaking making sure I got clothes and ready to wear when I come out of the shower. Freaking making sure the washing machine is empty so I can just throw all my clothes in there when I get back from the store. Freaking Lysol and all the food, or not the food, but washing off all the stuff I get from the store, making sure it's corona free, wearing masks, wearing gloves, cleaning off everything I bring back. I'd be pissed. You know what pisses me off is Gidley is supposed to my holder for fakes, but Casey throws the pick six. Can you? I haven't been able to change stuff in special teams. Are you allowed to? Maybe I'm just thinking of kickoffs. Gidley is supposed to be my holder for fakes, but Casey throws the pick six. Oh, against the Lancers. I was about to say, I don't remember there being a pick six or a fake. Yeah, I missed the pick six. I was kind of in and out watching that game at the beginning because I had to take care of something. But when I sat down, I didn't. That must have been early in the game. Um, Curious what's going on the disc. Still nothing. Nothing there. Um, I'm at a loss. I've got my special teams decked out for fakes and stuff because Madden. Wild, yeah, Madden's crazy. Yeah, you can mess with the punting and field goals. I wish you could mess with the kickoff lineup because one of the two guys, and I think it's Woodfin, slow as crap. Like I want Sanchez Lawrence not to outrun the blockers who have like a 10-yard head start, and he just blows by Woodfin every time. Sanchez Lawrence, my um, I liked him as a starter better at the beginning of the season, but he's dropped off, so that's why Vondre's starting now. What I wish I could do would be Vondre first downs and third downs, and Sanchez Lawrence would be the second down guy. But he's really young, and his, he's, I think, superstar upgrade or whatever you call it. Yeah, I need a, I need a faster guy there as one of those two back blockers on kick returns. Because I think actually Lawrence looked pretty good today in kick returns. He's actually got I think one of the top guys in the league for averages. But if freaking someone other than Woodfin would be one of those back two blockers, I think Sanchez Lawrence could get. He might not break one for 6, but I think you could throw another 5 yards onto his average. But as running back, he might not. He could be like if I didn't have other guys I needed to improve, I'd probably have him as one of the 3 guys getting that extra training to boost him up fast as possible. But I mean, I got Vondre Bryson there already. But Lawrence has a bright future with us, or a bright future as trade bait. But yeah, I like Lawrence. It was it was that's a good trade. He's probably better than whatever I could get out of the second round, right? Because I didn't trade for him. Who or whatever was running the team before me traded for him, with the Barons, right? For a second round pick straight up. But yeah, I had been actually using him in trade talks. Since I didn't trade for him, I guess Smitty was okay with that. He was actually almost traded away for Ronnie Nickens, but that trade got shot down. Anything else? Dude, we need to figure out a way to do a show where like a few coaches get together sometime during the week and just talk about the league or whatever. And figure that out somehow. I need to get on my computer and figure out how to broadcast from that instead of the PS4. Though this is good, being able to look at the stats. I'm sure I can do that from the computer too, hooking the PS4 up to the computer. Man, that got me all self-conscious about my coughs. I need a drink. This Corona thing's got me like underhydrated because I don't do anything to make myself thirsty. I'm just all of a sudden dry mouthed and dry throat when I finally realize I need something to drink. But anything else? I mean, I'll go as long as y'all want, but I can't think of anything else. The chat needs something that shows that somebody's typing. That way I know what's going on with everybody. Wow, this phone is trash. Come on, pull up the chat. Oh shoot, this thing hasn't shown me the last few comments. Somebody asked me, that's a false statement. You can get better talent in the second round. Can I? You think I could get better than a 80 superstar running back in the second round? At the time, you only had Bryson. True. But, I mean, if I didn't have Lawrence, my free agent strategies probably would have been different. I probably would have went after a backup running back a little harder. Bryson was why I didn't really go after Tavion Hall. Looking into for next season, yeah. Mark and I used to do a podcast. Yeah, that'd be cool. Thunderbirds Throwdown. Thoughts on Forbes? Forbes, more evidence. I'm a Ravens fan. Um, so when I took over the team, I think I had a rack load of 70 linebackers, and it was like all middle range 70 linebackers, and so like I was willing to get rid of one of them, and I almost got rid of Forbes to the Thunderbirds before I found out he was the defensive rookie of the year. Um, but after the preseason, I finally got to see what he could do. That's why I put him at middle linebacker, and I'm hoping, with him being as young as he is, and him having good, his improvement being really good, that he'll eventually be like my Ray Lewis on the team. And was he tonight with those 2 picks? Well, not an 80 superstar running back, something that can help the team more than a backup running back. Yeah, but Lawrence might end up becoming a starter, and if Bryson goes down next year, I'm hoping Sanchez Lawrence has improved enough to where it's like we don't miss a stride. And really, at the beginning of the season, he was running really well. He just it was like the more carries he got, the worse he got, which is weird because I feel like Bryson's the opposite. The more he gets the ball, the better he is. In my defense, I did not know he was. Yeah, I didn't know either. But then, I only started following it during the college series, and I was just like watching old games. Like there's, it's hard to find like an archive of rewards, season-ending awards. Somebody said there was somewhere on the website, but I haven't found it. But we'll see. I'll look around for some more. Like I didn't know Keenan Ashmore was an All-Star or Pro Bowler last season until like somewhere in the middle of the season of this season. Well, I was just like, oh, let me watch the Pro Bowl from last season, and then there he is on the starting defense as a corner. I was like, oh, let me bump him up my depth chart a little. Though Keenan's kind of been up and down too. He's made some plays, and then he's had some Sanchez Clay moments too, where he just totally misses a tackle and just looks foolish. Mark doesn't pay attention to that. Some people don't pay attention to personal awards. Yeah. I didn't know he had 6 picks. But I was like, I really based a lot of stuff off the preseason, and he wasn't super impressive in the preseason. Oh, yeah. Well, my guys, did someone miss a tackle on Colt? I'm trying to remember that long touchdown. But Clay will have guys like right in front of him, and he'll just look like an idiot. Not an idiot, just they make him look foolish. And when for 2 weeks straight you look at the highlight reel, and he's the star of the other team's highlights, you gotta. Are we okay with the S word? I mean, it's not showing up there, so I'm okay with it being in the chat. Dude, I couldn't believe that 92-yard touchdown pass. Like, I don't even think Bentley has had a play like that. I mean, honestly, before the season or before the preseason, I looked at Colt and Bentley. They were going to be my 1 and 2, but Colt didn't do jack in the preseason. What? 92 yards. Mitchie wasn't even born in 92. Shoot, I didn't think it was over till the fourth quarter. And even still, I was a little like, watch some fluky ass freaking interception for a touchdown, fumble for a touchdown, onside kick. Mess happened. Oh, alright, Mitchie. Yeah, your offense is too powerful to be like, oh yeah, it's over. It's done with. I'm gonna have to start saying what's said in the chat on for the anyone who watches the replay. Like, see what people are saying. Mitchie boy, honestly, I knew it was over when you scored on the first drive. No cap. Man, are you that? On the first drive? The first drive didn't even last like 2 minutes. Are you that unconfident in your team? You have a good team. You have a really good offense. Exactly. Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, well, if you watch my team though, they'll have like 2 drives and they'll put up like 14 points, and then they won't do anything for like the next quarter, and then they'll put up like 7 here, and then put up 7 like in the next quarter, and they'll end up with 28. So like my team will start out strong a lot, and then just kind of cruise control. It's like almost like I wish there was some kind of like motivate your team option. It's like you got to play all 4 quarters, guys. Don't take the second quarter off. Don't play like Jay Gruden is coaching you and take the third quarter off on both sides of the ball. So like especially after the Barons game, I'm not comfortable with the lead. I know my team, Mitchie says, I know my team, if we let up a TD first drive, it ain't going to be good. Does that go all the way back to last season? Because you can't. I don't know if you can really count the first 8 games of this season. It's kind of crazy that I think or is it Chris Casey, whatever his name is, he might have had a better game than Gidley did. We don't need Roland Woods. We don't need that option for people like Mark. True. Oh, I'm so curious of what would happen if Bentley didn't get hurt in that game. Because I was really thinking that was going to be a shootout. Or start turning into one, and then Bentley goes out and the team is disarray, and play whatever quarter you like. That's the Jay Gruden strategy. Hey, take the third quarter off, guys. We want to be strong for the fourth. We're down by 30 now. Mitch boy, Christian, want a game to watch? What you talking about? What game are you talking about, Mitchie? Go watch Snowhawks vs. Explorers wildcard last year. Alright. Sounds good. I'll put it on my list of things to do tomorrow. Or tonight. Yeah. Well, it is tomorrow now. It's after 12. Snowhawks vs. Explorers. playoff game. Let me put that on my list. If this phone doesn't do something stupid like it likes to do. No. Snowhawks. Explorers. Alright, I'll check that game out sometime tomorrow or today. Well, it depends what coast you're on. I'm supposed to be pretending I'm on the West Coast. I'm still in Portland. We're at the airport. Mitchie. Or Snowhawks versus Marshalls in Week 16 last year. That's my proudest game as a coach. So many good games to go back and watch. Said Mark. Snowhawks and Mars. Did you crush them, or was it a good game? Or a bad game? Was it an entertaining game? The Marshalls game. I mean... I wonder why the chat on screen doesn't keep up anymore. It's been kind of glitchy lately. Oh, there we go. I mollywopped him, but I was nervous as hell about it. So it was like, yeah, that's how I felt today. Dude, like, I was just expecting your offense to just blow up and just start scoring ridiculously quick touchdowns and stuff. Like, you have a good offense, but I think Bill and Smitty kind of oversell it. Like, I was just scratching my head at last week's podcast. I was like, I know the Snowhawks were missing guys for the first 8 weeks, but how are you gonna say they're the favorites against the number one team in the conference? So was I, to be honest. I watched practice for 5 hours today. Ain't that crazy how long you could get into watching practice? I think I did that for like 2 hours getting ready for the Thunderbirds game. Like, I was even, with as bad as Wakefield was doing leading up to that game, I was like watching Sears play quarterback, seeing how that looked. We powerful, Christian, I promise. Oh, I know you are. But that's crazy to be like the way. Well, Smitty sometimes sells things in general. Like, he was talking about if we lost to the Thunderbirds, we wouldn't make the playoffs. Like, do you know what the rest of my schedule looks like after the Snowhawks? Were you doing based on history? Yeah, but I mean, if you were basing off this season, he had only played like before the Lancers, the Condors and the Tigers, the two worst defenses in the league. Were you doing anything else from 1 to 6, or you just sat there and watched practice? Or were you like watching practice? Were you like while you were cleaning or doing something? I agree with me, to be honest. Mark, I spent 20 seconds prepping for Crusaders. Dang, man. I thought you were the one who's... Mark, I thought you were the one that was always so uncertain about your team. Do you even do anything different week to week, or are you like the usual, the usual every week? Mitchie says, I sat in my living room for 5 hours today watching practice. Roland, don't even entertain this man. Yeah. Freaking Mark turned this corner. He went from, like, humble and uncertain about his team to, yeah, I spent 20 seconds prepping for that game. His humble facade. So, let me see. Against you is the first time I ever tried to match up versus other teams' receivers. I could see why. I think I noticed that too. Like, I looked at your cornerbacks, and, like, the order I thought was kind of odd. And then I was like, nah, I know what he's doing. Yeah. It's funny, I don't think people realize how many different things you can actually do to prepare for a game and strategize. Roland, it's been fun, guys, but I gotta do some scheming for the Hawks. LOL. Mitchie, I was talking with him about it. Alright, Roland, you have a good one. I think I'm gonna probably end this one here in a second. At least make this like an hour and 30 minute exactly. So it's lightning round. We get 2.5 minutes to talk about whatever we want. Go. Who does who do you have, Roland? Mitchie says, same Roland, I'm starting my schemes for the Barons. Mark, I think a lot of teams overthink things. Probably, but I also think a lot of people don't realize how much stuff you can do to prepare for a game. Especially if your team's not stacked. Like, my team's pretty uneven. I mean, 85 offense and a 77 defense. And inside the offense and defense, there's ups and downs. Especially the defense. Mitchie boy, thoughts on the short week? Dude, it was an extra short week. Play Monday, can't get on your team Tuesday. I mean, at least not till later, but by then, like, the rest of my day was planned, and so it was like a one day to plan. So that was, I mean, that's probably why I spent 2 hours planning for this game, because I couldn't break it up. Because what I usually do is get on Madden about hour before the coach show on Tuesday or Wednesday, whenever I do it. Do some stuff then, and then the next day get on and do, double check things, make sure they're cool, and that's for like a Thursday game. If it's later in the week, I'll probably like pop into the game here and there to see if there's anything I missed. I do kind of like Thursday games because you don't have to wait through all these other games waiting for your game. Because, like, okay, I know where I stand, and then I can just kind of relaxingly watch what everyone else does if I have the time to watch what everyone else does. Mitchie boy, Mark, you and I all had short weeks. Yeah, the only one who didn't was Bill. When did the Explorers play? Last week. It was like Saturday, wasn't it? No. Was it Saturday? I want to say they played Saturday. Either way, it wasn't short as us three. Oh, he had a bye week. That's even better. So yeah, he had the advantage in that instance, but I guess it doesn't really matter if you only spend 20 seconds scheming. How long, Mark? How long did you spend planning for the Explorers? Like 40 seconds? Or were you just like, yeah, it worked so well against the Crusaders? Not too long. Did not two matchups. Did not do matchups. Ah, I gotcha. Is he still missing C.J. Parker? Or that was the last game he's missing him. He gets him back next week, right? Ow! Back next week. Mark did some depth chart stuff. Robinson comes back next week. Yeah. It'll be interesting to see what he does when CJ comes back. But yeah. Ow. I'm getting attacked by kittens. Um Explorers have a tough schedule. Well, doesn't everyone in the NFC North have a tough schedule? But yeah, anything else we want to talk about? Oh, I have one big game left. Diablos scare me, but dude, I don't know how the Diablos don't do better. Like they have a good group of players. They just that's the bad when they play usually. I mean, they beat me. They beat the brakes off me. Like I probably under planned for them just because of the way people were treating that game for me. They were like, "Oh yeah, Crusaders shouldn't have any problem with that game." I'm like, "Oh okay, I'll just do this and this and this, and then I should be good." I have 4 big games left. Yeah, you got the Barons. Who else? I was thinking about the Elk schedule at first. It was like the Baron. No, you already played the Thunderbirds. Have you played the Explorers yet? Oh, well, Condors. Yeah, You shouldn't have any problem with the Condors. All your games are big because you need to win them. It probably doesn't really matter who you're playing, but yeah. Barons, Explorers, Gunners are all three very dangerous teams. Gunners were. Jeez, how are they such underachievers this season? Like, I expected more from them. One of you need to knock off the Lancers. I don't play the Lancers. Mitchy boy, I should have had a problem with you. I mean, shouldn't have? Oh, Gunner's D is horrible. Yeah. And the wide receivers are sick. Anyways, I'm out. Yeah, we're probably going to call it after I find out whether Mitchy Boy means they're sick because they're good or they're sick because they're bad. Or are you saying they're vomit? Ah, okay. Yeah, that'll hurt you. Didn't they make the playoffs last season? Or am I thinking of like the Snowhawks? Because I remember when I was interviewed at the beginning of the season, for some reason I thought I was in the same division as the Gunners. How'd they do that if they have such a bad defense and trash receivers? I mean, unless they lost a good running back, they just finally picked one up. And we're 15-1 in season 3. Wow. So is their coach just slowly dragging them down? Because that was kind of my fear. Like, seeing how the Crusaders barely missed the playoffs last season, from what I could tell, uh, the goal was this season. I mean, the goal was obviously to win the championship, but the acceptable goal was just to make playoffs. Oh, okay. What, they just not able to re-sign him, or what? Lester Gadsden they had. I mean... Oh, yeah, Jabri Jackson. Yeah, he needs to get him some help. Oh, wow. That was a mistake. They let him walk so they could afford more trash defense and more trash receivers. Or does he just not know how to put a defense together? Mitchy boy, they wanted to get 96 overall Reason Gary, but Lancers got... Oh! That was a poor decision. Yeah, I think I... Man, that's... Like, if you let him walk, you gotta do whatever you can... You have to get Gary. Like, we're gonna get rid of our good run game to go for a great run game, but then not do what we need to do to get that... To make sure we didn't shoot ourselves in the foot. Oh, man. Yeah. they're one of the teams I keep when I look at the playoff picture and I don't see them. I'm like, what? How's that happen? But you, they're not in my division. I don't play them, so I haven't really been paying attention to them until they got Nickens, and then now Nickens is out, so now I don't really follow them again until Nickens comes back. I guess I haven't heard any update on him, so maybe he's already back. I'll try to peek in at their next game. Yeah, we'll call it a night. Thanks for joining me. Yeah, peace out. Like, subscribe, turn on notifications to the channel. Have a good night. Good game, Mitchy boy. Yeah, it is. I was looking all over to see news on Beal because he had gotten hurt in that game too against the Thunderbirds. But yeah, no news on it, and he was so he was fine. But yeah, all right, Mitchy. Everyone else who might be watching the replay or whatever, have a good night. Peace. My phone's about to die anyway.